How's it going, guys? Leaf Erickson here, and today I'm doing something I haven't done in a while, which is make some NFL content about pretty much who I think's doing really well so far this year. I didn't want to make one too early because I don't really like repeating myself too much as the seasons go on, because I feel like after a while you're just kind of repeating yourself, and that's just not who I am. So, we're going to start with the 49ers game last night, where I think we kind of showed a little bit that Purdy does need a little bit of help, which is perfectly fine. As long as he has everyone that he has and can dish out the ball to his playmakers and stuff, he'll be fine in that system. But I think we definitely got to see the last 2 weeks that, well, not really. I want to say last week with against the Browns that was really his fault. That we could put that blame more on the kicker there, but this week definitely with the two interceptions late in the game, and letting Kirk Cousins finally win a primetime game for I don't know. I mean, he's been doing a little bit better in primetime games, but you know how it goes, primetime Kirk and all that. But I think this definitely brought the 49ers down a peg, in my opinion, because that they should have beaten them last night, but they had some injuries. Everyone's got injuries right now, so it is what it is. But thank you so much, Kirk Cousins, for beating the 49ers. I am an Eagles fan, clearly, if you can't tell. So the Eagles are now on top in the NFC. And that's going to be the next game that I want to talk about. By the way, the 49ers are probably going to be fine. They're probably still going to be the second seed by the end of the year. Possibly even the first. It depends. The Eagles got a lot of really hard games coming up, but I think we could definitely win all of them. I think the Eagles roster is pretty stacked. And the 49ers roster is pretty stacked too. I just think the Eagles might have a little bit more depth where we can overcome some injuries where the 49ers, I feel like maybe a little bit more shallow when it comes to depth. Where if a couple of their big stars go out, then they kind of fold and they can't get the same production out of the guys coming up, and they don't really step up as big as the stars do. Where I feel like in the Eagles situation, I feel like we've been playing with like third, fourth, fifth string corners and safeties pretty much all year long, and some of the guys have really stepped up and been able to help us out in big situations. So now I want to say like the Eagles are definitely getting better as the year goes on. This is now the Eagles portion, and we're done with the 49ers. Uh, the Eagles they're getting a little bit better here and there. I think Jalen Hurts has been playing with an injury ever since maybe the Rams game. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we did just pick up a huge fucking safety. So I'm super stoked about that. We stole from the Titans again, and things are definitely looking up for the Eagles as things go on. We should, I hope, get Reed Blankenship back. He's been phenomenal. I think he's one of the most underrated safeties. Again, he's had the same injury twice this year, but the second time, I really want to put like that he's injury prone or anything like that. I think that's a stupid thing to think. He literally got cheap shotted in the ribs. Uh, so it was an already injury that he was kind of playing through, and it just got re-aggravated. So I think he'll be fine. I just think that he just needed another week to just like get that situated, and I think that our safeties played fine against Miami, but they did. Tyreek's gonna get his points. You're not gonna always stop him every single play. Eventually, speed is gonna beat anyone. It's just how it goes. But I do have to say, like, though, but everyone's always like, oh, well, they didn't. Another thing with the Dolphins game and the Eagles game is like everyone's like, oh, the Dolphins didn't have Ramsey, they didn't have this guy. Well, guess what? The Eagles didn't have Reed Blankenship. They didn't have like half of their safeties and starters and on defense and offense. Like the Eagles probably were missing more key guys than the Dolphins were. Actually, the Dolphins were only really missing two, three guys, and the Eagles were probably just missing just as many, or if not more, key guys than actual the Dolphins were. And then another thing that I want to talk about is the penalty situation in the Eagles game. We'll start with the Eagles one. The Colts also got royally fucked. So I do want to say that I don't think it was very one-sided as people like to claim that it was. Yes, the Eagles didn't get any flags thrown on them. That happens. That's what happens when you play a clean game. The refs weren't really calling that many holding calls for either team. I don't even know if the Dolphins got called for holding maybe once or twice at the most. And then the offsides, the Dolphins were lining up offsides like almost every play. So like I don't get how that's the ref's fault that your team is lining up offsides. And they even called Jason Kelsey for being offsides when the center is literally allowed to have his hand next to the ball, but they thought it was the tackle or guard or whatever. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's just no. And then the face mask thing, I get it. That was a no call, but they also missed one on that when AJ Brown got pass interfered as well. They didn't call either of them, so I think that's fair. If they don't call it for one team, they don't call it for the other. And I also think like with the face mask one, you literally got points. You got 7 points literally the next play, pretty much. I think it might have been the next play that the pick six happened. So like it really that definitely didn't change the outcome of the game. If anything, it helped you guys. So I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. I think that the refs definitely did not interfere with the game at all, and I'd rather them not throw flags than them be flag happy. So, and to be fair, most of the flags on the Dolphins, like I said before, were for offsides or jumping the gun or whatever. Like none of them really had to do with ticky tacky bullcrap. The one I will give to the Dolphins that was bullshit was the unnecessary roughness on Jalen Hurts. I think that one was a little bit outrageous. Like that one was stupid. I will give you guys that one. But other than that, I thought the refing was pretty normal. Um, so we got the who do we got next? We have the Commanders next for the Eagles, so that's going to be another tough game. The Commanders always play strong. I'm actually more afraid of the Commanders than I am Dallas Cowboys, but I think as long as we get some of our pieces back, which I'm definitely think Reed Blankenship is back this week because it's only bruised ribs, and I think some of the other guys may come back that were a little banged up with like tiny little 1 week injuries or whatever. So we should be fine. We'll see. They always play us tough. So let's go, Birds. Get another victory. Keep this thing rolling. The next thing, like I said, mentioned before, I want to talk about the Colts game. That was another game that I watched. And I thought that game, if any game out of all the games this week were the refs interfered with the game and completely screwed a team, was definitely the Colts game. Because those two the pass interference and then the illegal touching. We'll start with the illegal touching. That was the first one that literally was took a sack away and the game-winning sack away. Uh, well, a fumble. It took the fumble away. Was I cannot believe that Amari Cooper is allowed to push off on the defender. Yes, I get it. The defender was maybe a little too slow, maybe a little bit out of position. That's fine. That happens. Sometimes you run over a guy. But I don't think that's fair because a guy might be a little bit slower and then he gets pushed over by the receiver that you call it on the defensive player. If anything, that should be offensive illegal pass interference or whatever. Plus, it didn't even affect Amari's route at all. Amari Cooper didn't miss a single step at all. I definitely think that one was complete bullshit. That game should have been over. The Colts got screwed, and I think Gardner Minshew played amazing. I think he played lights out, and I think Deshaun Watson stole a bunch of money from the Browns, and I don't think he wants to play football. I think he just wants to do as little as possible, just get his money, and then he's done. But I do have to say, though, I feel really bad for Colts fans. My cousin's a big Colts fan, so I kind of keep up with them for him to keep him like in the loop and everything. And then also, I like Gardner Minshew. I think he's very underrated. I think a lot of people give him shit for no reason. He definitely should be a starter in the NFL. I think this last game definitely proved it. Yeah, he had a couple bull crap fumbles that were just really really good defensive plays in my opinion. I'm very biased, or not unbiased. I mean, very unbiased when it comes to every team in the NFL. Like I am a diehard Eagles fan for the most part, but like I do just enjoy the sport in general, and I do like to just give it how it really is. And I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, this guy's shit for no reason. Like I'll give him the benefit of the doubt most of the time. But if you actually watch the film, like his he barely has that much time. Yes, he did. He sometimes he would have a clean pocket, but on the ones that he fumbled, it was literally within like 3 seconds of like the ball being snapped that he was getting hit, or the one it might have been one or two of his fumbles because I think he had three. But the last one, really, I'm not going to count the last one because that was just him trying to make something happen at the end of the game. But the one he was going back, he got hit in the arm as he was about to throw it, which every quarterback fumbles there. I don't care who you are, Patrick Mahomes, Hurts, fucking Matthew Stafford, don't matter. Whoever you are, Josh Allen, you're fumbling that ball like 98% of the time. So that one, that's just a great play by Myles Garrett. The other one, I believe he got hit like as he was getting uh someone grabbed the ball and he lost it a little bit and then he got hit again and then the ball came out type thing. So again, that was just a really good defensive play. The guy getting in there, getting to the ball. So I want to put those on him. And then the interception, technically, I mean, yeah, was it kind of a stupid spot to put the ball? I guess, but if you really watch it and you break down the film, uh, what happened is Pittman Jr., which ended up like making up for this play later in the game anyway. But he kind of sailed like as he's running his route, you could see that he starts to like let off a little bit and he continues to go upfield. And the first thing that like I was taught when I was playing wide receiver in high school and stuff, in even high school level, and college, whatever, semi-pro. I play a little semi-pro too. But the first thing that they taught us was doing when the plays broke down, you're running around and like do not keep going upfield. Do not come back to the ball. And what Pittman did was he just slowly kept going upfield instead of stopping and like coming back and high pointing the ball. So like in my opinion, he wasn't even like full speed or anything. He was jogging by the time this happened. And he just kept like kind of just slowly kept going upfield, which allowed the cornerback to make an amazing play. He played that ball really well, and pretty much made Pittman get punished for running a really terrible route. And so what happened? So what should have happened is Pittman should have saw the ball, known that where the coverage was, because he should have. You're supposed to know when you're a wide receiver. You should know where everyone's gonna be. You should be able to kind of guesstimate where people are so that you know what spots you can sit in, what spot, you know what I mean? Like that's just 101 route running. So he should have stopped and high pointed the ball and actually tried to fight for it, but he just kind of just kept on cruising a little bit downfield or upfield, I mean, and I don't know. To me, that's on Pittman. I'm sorry. As a wide receiver, I'm going to say that it was the receiver's fault. That's just how it is. So, yeah, I mean, I think Gardner Minshew, he's definitely your guy going forward. I like some of the things. I'm kind of, a lot of people like to call me Anthony Richardson hater. I'm not really a hater. I just don't think he has the experience yet. Plus, he keeps getting injured, so I don't know. I'm hoping he doesn't end up like RG3, but the rate he's going, he might end up like another RG3. But I think you guys, the Colts fans, you Colts fans out there, if any of you guys are watching this, I do think that you guys will be fine going forward with Minshew. And to be fair, the 3 games that you guys have won, Minshew was at the end your quarterback for those games. And he beat the Ravens for you. Like, he should have won that game. You guys just got absolutely screwed by the refs. I'm sorry. But that should have been another win for Minshew. He put up 300 some yards and he had 2 rushing touchdowns. Looked a little bit like Anthony Richardson. So you got that going. He's running. He can run the ball. So, you guys will be fine. I just think that you guys absolutely got fucked over. I'm sorry. So let's see. What's the next one? Oh, the Kansas City game. Kansas City's still Kansas City as long as they have Taylor Swift up there with Travis Kelce and everything, and They have Mahomes and Andy Reid. As long as Reid, Mahomes, and Kelsey are in Kansas City, that offense is gonna find ways to score points and put up a lot of numbers and whatnot. And their defense, the Kansas City's defense, looks really, really good so far. I will say the Chargers getting away because we know who the Kansas City Chiefs are. They're gonna probably end up in the Super Bowl again. Uh, there's just, I mean, who knows? But I do want to say though that the Chargers look exactly how I thought they would look. I don't know why people are so high on Justin Herbert. Like, I get it, but it's been what 3 or 4 years now of people saying that, oh, he's gonna take the next step. He's never gonna get there. He doesn't have the coaching. He doesn't have the. I don't think they really have the line. I don't think they have a running back, which I don't get why they don't use him more. They get too pass happy. Uh, the defense, I think the Chargers' defense, their pass defense is probably one of the worst, if not the worst in the NFL. So they maybe, you know what? Actually, if they just get their defense built up a little bit, the Chargers might actually have a chance because their offense is pretty decent. You know, they have really good players on offense. They have one of the best running backs. They have what's supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but I haven't seen it yet. And then they have a Keenan Allen, a really good wide receiver. They have offensive talent. It's their defense that I think ends up screwing them over late in games, especially because I feel like a lot of their games end up in like shootouts or always come down to like the last drive type thing. So I think if they can get some defensive pieces, maybe they're the ones that should be calling some of these other teams and being like, hey, can we get that guy for a 5th and 6? So it is what it is. But Kansas City's gonna keep winning games until they play the Eagles, obviously. And then we got Chargers. I don't know, man. And the Browns. I didn't talk about the Browns when I was talking about the Colts game either. But I think the Browns defense is really good. I think the Browns could have won that game fairly, maybe, possibly, but it is what it is. That's just what happened. I do think the Browns are decent. I just think they have a quarterback problem right now. Their defense is obviously one of the best. So let's go going back to Jaguars. Okay, so Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are really good this year. I think they're gonna be in the playoffs. I think they're gonna win their division. I don't see much that's really bad to say about the Jags so far. They do look legit. I think that Trevor Lawrence has taken those steps that Herbert hasn't, and I think that they're just going to continue to get better as they go. And as the season keeps stringing along, we'll see. I mean, there's not much to not like about the Jaguars, to be honest. Will they get to the Super Bowl? Probably not, but they're at least going to be competitive. And to be fair, actually, they're the only team besides, well, they're the only team that's almost upset the Chiefs a few times in the playoffs now. They even, well, this is before Lawrence, but the Jaguars almost even beat Tom Brady in the playoffs when they had, what's his face? Uh, fuck, I forget. Blake Bortles. There we go. So who knows? Anything can happen in the playoffs, really. The number one team can get beat by the, 8th, 7th, 6th seed, whatever, whoever the fuck they're playing, it doesn't matter. So, but getting into the playoffs, I think, is just a big deal for a lot of these younger teams and just teams in general because at least you made it to the little fun part of the season. At least you made it. You're not sitting home and you didn't even have a shot at the ring. So as long as you make it to the playoffs, you at least have a shot, and that's all that matters. So, anyways, those are the games that I wanted to talk about this week. I just want to do this just for fun because I haven't done one of these yet, I don't think. But my 5 top teams right now is at number 5, I have the 49ers. So I have the 49ers down here because they've lost 2 in a row now. So I do think it is fair to drop them down after 2 losses in a row. I did have them at number 2 before this, like in my own personal head thing. But I did drop them down. Like I said, I think the 49ers will be fine. I think they will bounce back. I don't think they're better than the Eagles. I do think the Eagles are still better than the 49ers just because I just think the Eagles have way more depth. And if it does come down to it when these two teams play and there's a couple injuries on both sides, I still think the Eagles will overpower. Um, Plus, I think the Eagles are just more physical than the 49ers. That's not bias, that's just proven fact. Just look at even last year when the Eagles played the 49ers in the championship game. The Eagles absolutely dominated on both sides of the line. So I think the same thing's just going to happen again. I just don't think that 49ers line can keep up with the Eagles. As long as the Eagles lines are healthy. Now, if there's some injuries and Lane Johnson's not there, Jason Kelsey's banged up or something, Milata's missing, then the 49ers may be a little bit more even matched. But if everyone's completely healthy on the Eagles, um, there's absolutely no way. Um, Number 4, I had the Baltimore Ravens. I They took out the Lions. I did have the Lions at number 4. In my own in my thing last week that for my own head or whatever. But they absolutely destroyed the Lions, and Lamar looked really good. He looked back like his MVP self. Now, the one thing with Lamar, in my opinion, though, is that he is a little bit like I want to say he's kind of like Dak Prescott, where one week he looks great and then the other week he looks fine. You know what I mean? So, but overall, though, I do think the Ravens have the firepower to keep up with some of these big teams. I don't think they'll make it to the Super Bowl. Sorry, Ravens fans. But I do think you guys will make the playoffs this year and possibly even win your division because let's just face it, the Bengals don't look too hot. I don't think, in my opinion, so far this year. They got a lot of shit that they're dealing with. Um, the Steelers maybe might sneak up at the end of the year. We'll see what happens. Still got to watch them, see how things go there. But I don't think the Browns are going to win your division. So I think the Ravens are the clear favorites right now for me to win their division. So I do have them at 4. I do think they deserve to be there right now. And number 3, this one's probably the biggest one that most people are probably going to be like, oh, that's a little weird. Is I do have the Jaguars at number 3 because I just think that there's no one talks about them for some reason, but they just keep continuing to get better. They keep continuing to win games, and they just continue to just show up when it matters. And that's all that really matters to me. Like if you're winning games and you're doing your thing, you're keeping the fort thing moving, you got everything's going smooth. Jaguars are number 3 on my list. That's just how it is. Now this one might hurt some of you guys that are Eagles fan. Number 2 is the Eagles. I do have the Eagles at number 2 just because, well, we haven't looked the best offensively all the time. Like I said, Jalen Hurts is also, I think, dealing with some kind of injury, and there's just I don't know. We could do a lot better on offense. I think our defense is playing lights out. Our special teams is playing lights out. It's just our offense. I think our offense did look really, really good the other day against the Dolphins, though. I think we are trending in the right step. And once we get these safeties put in the place, Blankenship and Byard, we'll be fine. But we'll be even better on defense, I'm trying to say. And who knows, maybe Howie will make another move and we'll get some other crazy player. But right now, I want to say Kansas City Chiefs are number 1. I mean, they're the Chiefs. They're the reigning Super Bowl champs. They just keep finding ways to win after that Lions loss without Kelsey. As long as Kelsey's playing, it's hard not to pick the Chiefs because he's just so good at, like I was saying before, with finding spots in the open zone and just having that offensive and defensive awareness of where people are going to be and where you need to be in order to run. That's the thing. That's the difference between, like, if you watch someone like Kelsey who actually knows how to run clean, perfect routes and how to extend routes and make sure you get into a spot that's open. Travis Kelsey is definitely one of the best people at doing that. And that's the difference between what he did and what Pittman did, and why you rarely see Kelsey have interceptions on him. So Yeah, I mean, that's my list. Like I said, Chiefs number 1, Eagles number 2, Jaguars number 3, Ravens 4, and 49ers 5th. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely give this a like. Comment down below what you think of everything that I covered in this video. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And also let me know down below if you want to see more stuff like this, because I don't know, I like talking about football. I just don't like repeating myself too much too often. But if you guys want to see more of like this weekly like recap of the games that I watched, I'd be really happy to do it and give you update my top 5 as the weeks go as well. But right now, this is what I've got for you guys, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.